Hi folks, this is Paweł Paluch and welcome to Dublin Sales Academy. One of the most influential elements of your sales team effectiveness is actually the product that they are pushing out to the market. But not the physical representation of the product, rather than the problem that it's solving for the customer. And to be honest, if the problem is something that the customer is bothered about. In simple, if the product is solving a problem for a wide array of customers and it brings them a lot of money or it reduces the cost for them, then the sales force have a better chance converting them into clients. And yet again, if the product is not solving any particular problem and it's not hitting the right notes with the customer, then you're in big trouble. Even the best sales force will not handle a product that is completely not sellable. It will be extremely hard for them to fill in the pipeline with enough amount of leads to cover for the whole year. So let me tell you today about value proposition. Before we start, let me clarify that the value proposition and product development is not a direct role of any sales team. It's the marketing team who is responsible for creating and building the product for the company. Before the product is being released to the public, they also need to conduct a research phase to find out if there's actually a fit between the product and the audience. So the effect of their work should be the product, value proposition, pricing matrix, target audience, and a whole lot of collateral documents like webinars, infographics, PDFs, presentations, and so on and so forth. Whatever is necessary to build the right brand awareness and product awareness. So why is it so important for Salesforce in the first place? Because the best product implementation can easily fail without a proper value proposition. If you have been working with a fast-growing startup or a big corporate, then you probably noticed the work that is being delivered by the marketing team around the product itself before it's being handed out to Salesforce. In simple terms, value proposition is the why the customer should buy and be interested in your product in the first place. When designing the value proposition, the company needs to take into consideration a few elements. Relevancy, so how the product actually solves the problem of a customer and what the problem is. Quantified value, what specific benefits the product does deliver. And differentiation. So tell your customer why they should buy off you and not from your competitors. The value proposition is the thing that Salesforce needs to breathe and live every day. This is also the first thing your potential customer will see and hear when they think about the product. If it's cold calling, events, cold emails, or a website. Without it, you can expect that your sales force will have a lower conversion rate, as they will have to rely solely on their experience, not on the value that the product delivers. People should understand the value proposition in the first second they will hear it. It must be relevant and already on top of their minds. Value proposition is something that real humans should understand. It's for people to hear and read. Here's the example of what the value proposition should not be like. Revenue-focused marketing automation and sale effectiveness solution. Unleash the collaboration throughout the revenue cycle. Would you be able to explain the concept to your friend, or at least try to explain what are the benefits of it? I didn't think so. Unfortunately, it's not a joke. Abandon bland advertising at all costs. When designing a value proposition, you also need to think about the language that your customer is using to describe their problem and issue. The language that you are using should join the conversation. That's already happening in your customer's head. To do that, you need to know exactly what is the language that your customer is using when trying to explain the problem that your solution is solving and how they can benefit from it. So what are the elements of good value proposition? It's quite simple. You have to explain the end benefit to the potential customer that the product will guarantee. A specific explanation of exactly what you are offering, who directly will benefit, and why is it useful. And at the end, the list of key benefits that your product will deliver. So if your value proposition makes people say, There is definitely something that you're doing wrong. If they have to read a lot of text or listen to a litany of your salesperson talk over the phone, you're doing it wrong. Yes, a sufficient amount of information is crucial for the conversation, but you need to draw them in a really clear way. Compelling value proposition first. So what makes the good value proposition? Clarity. It's easy to understand. It communicates a concrete result that your customer will get after using your product or service. It says how it's different from other products on the market. It has to avoid hypes like never seen before or amazing miracle product, superlative like the best, great, and obviously the bullshit jargon like value added interactions that doesn't say anything. And last but not least, it has to be readable. And a person hears that for the first time, they have to understand it in 5 seconds. One of my favorite examples is Udemy's value proposition towards HR director who is facing an increasing problem of maintaining the right skill set among his employees. As you can see, it hits all the right notes. It addresses the HR director with really simple and clear explained product and solution. Sounds good, right? Okay. If you already have the value proposition designed, the next step is to teach your sales force about it. This is the why your potential customer should be interested in your product, and your sales force needs to know it by heart. The next step would be to craft few very powerful attention grabbers, or something that you might recall from the past, elevator pitches. I use attention grabbers as elevator pitch is mostly reserved for startups pitching against their investors, but the idea is very similar. In today's fast-moving environment, you have less and less time to grab personal attention. People are used to short tweets, snippets, headliners, rather than full-blown descriptions. You also need to be aware that your prospects are being approached by different vendors, different products, hundreds of times every day. The attention grabbers needs to be easy to understand, crisp, and hitting the right target in the first few lines of a discussion. So depending on who you are referring to, you always need to be prepared with a specific attention grabber that will justify your prospect the time that they would like to spend with you whenever you have met them in a corridor of a conference or this is a quick phone call. You need to be armed with dozen really highly targeted attention grabbers. And I can guarantee that the level of prospecting will increase, you will gain effectiveness, and it will be super smooth whenever you will learn how to use them properly. I hope you really enjoyed the video on value proposition and how critical and crucial it is for any sales and marketing activity. And please do comment, because I would love to know what are the areas that you are looking to improve. Also, be on the lookout on the next video about attention grabbers, as we just scratched the surface. And I know that you know they are super important in everyday sales. I'm generating content regularly, so if you happen to like what you saw and it helped you in your sales, please hit the subscribe button not to miss out on anything. Thank you again for taking a peek at Dublin Sales Academy channel. This is Paweł Paluch, who will lead you through sales and marketing maze with no bullshitting around. Cheers!